it says we're live. What better way to test out a stream than 1 o'clock in the morning? Probably no one's going to be around to watch. But hey, that's okay. Okay. So, while I get my stuff going here and make sure everything's working. Okay. And that the audio is working. So, and it sounds like it is working. Great, great. Well, anyone who shows up, greetings all. I am the little guy in the box in the screen who talks about crypto occasionally here on this channel, Just Plain Crypto. So first I'm going to cover a little bit of news, and then I want to talk about there's a lot of really weird FUD going on with Solana. And now I am not, I'm a Solana fanboy, of course, because it's made me a lot of money. But you know, it also is a very, very good project. And here's the bigger thing is that I very much dislike Ethereum. I always have disliked Ethereum. And the longer that I've been in, of course, I've owned Ethereum and Ethereum has made me money as well. Okay. But I've never liked it. I've never liked anything about the project. Thought it was a horrible project. And I'm like, why isn't there anything better? And all you had really to look forward to was Cardano. And they kind of aren't really still doing much. They have their smart contracts implemented, and of course it's going to be some time before people come out with projects and do things on Cardano, so that will take a while. So you're kind of stuck with Ethereum, who's really kind of had the monopoly aspect of the whole thing for the last several years. So now we have Solana, who comes out the gate that can do everything Ethereum can do except better. And they had a little bit of a issue with some bot action, some things we'll get into a little bit, where they had to restart their network, and the price went down by like 15%, but that's really not much of anything. But the FUD out there is about how, oh, Solana's bad now, and they can't handle this, and they can't handle that, and they should have tested this and that, and it's I don't understand where that is coming from. But first, we're going to talk about Gary Ginsler here. Good old Gary Ginsler, if anyone's seen anything on that, he was supposed to go into the talk to the Senate because they're wondering why the SEC is going after all of these people and not actually providing any sort of guidance as to what they're supposed to be doing as to what's a security. Now, the SEC is anybody who's making money, you're a security. That's really all there is to it. It's that simple. You can see the headline here, SEC Chair Ginsler, stable coins could be treated as securities. For anyone who doesn't know what a security is effectively like a stock for a company. So you purchase a stock in Tesla. The only reason you are purchasing Tesla and funding Tesla by purchasing their imaginary stock, right? Stocks are kind of an imaginary thing, right? The only reason you would purchase this and fund the company is for a return on your investment. All right. That is effectively what a security is. There is zero return on anything with a stable coin. You're not financing any company with a stable coin. Gary Ginsler says the stable coin's a security. There you go. There you go. You watch some of the clips of that, and basically it comes down to Gary Ginsler is asked very basic, simple, straightforward questions as to why certain companies are securities or not, and Gary doesn't answer any of them. He's just a crook, and this is where they do their little pretend back and forth where the government tries to look like they're looking out for the people and all of that, but nothing is going to come of it. Gary Ginsler says, well, it's your fault. I don't have better laws to work with. According to the laws that I have, everything is a security. And it's political nonsense. It's garbage. There really isn't much reason to pay attention to any of it, because they're going to do what they want to do. And this is just a spectacle and a show that they have they have amongst themselves. Really. So what's going on in cryptocurrency today? Not a whole heck of a lot. The market turned around a little bit. Bitcoin's up, was around 47,000. It's dropped back a little bit now. So Bitcoin is more or less in the clear of its stuff, but Cardano is still kind of going down and struggling a bit, which, they just had a major upgrade and no one seems to care. So all the news is on Solana, which had a little network hiccup today, which dropped the price by a little bit from like 165 down to 152 or in the upper 140s. I canceled. I had a sell order in just in case they started playing with the market, and I canceled that because, oh, they have a network problem. Once the network problem ends, the price will go right back up to where it was because Solana is a very good project that is actually doing what it says it's going to do. Now, I have my beef, a couple of things I don't like. It's not really a beef because Solana is brand new, but a couple of things I don't like is they're aiming to be as decentralized as they can, but because they're so new, they only have like 1,000 validator nodes or something, and that was part of the problem with their outage today. In the future, more and more and more validators will be online, but from what I understand, the requirements for that are pretty high. So right in here, we got some ups and downs a little bit with Solana, but it came right back up when they fixed the problem. I want to go over and talk about the FUD from this guy, because this guy, I don't, he's got 1 million subscribers, so apparently a lot of people like this guy. I don't sub to him and I don't really watch him, but occasionally he shows up on my feed. And for whatever reason, I happen to click on this one and I'm like, he has a lot of negative things to say about Solana and that the price is being manipulated and controlled. And it's like, what? And I got to wonder. And then as I poke around to look at the kind of negative sentiment out there on the interwebs, it all seems like it's really, really, oh, Solana's busted and can't be trusted and this and that. And it's really strange because Solana did go from like $30 to what is it, 150. So it did a 5x this month, but so did it has Ethereum in the past. Bitcoin has done that in the past. It's not unusual in the cryptocurrency market that when big investors come in and people really jump in, that you get a really, 5x gain. That's why people are in crypto. So let's hear what he has to say about it. All right.
Good. Number 2 story of the day, we have Solana having to restart their network. It got overloaded. For months, we've been hearing about how great Solana is. And look, there's no doubt Solana is a great project and it will go on to do great things. But this pump that we've seen over the last several months has been artificial. Manipulation has pushed this price up.
Proof.
The tech is not there yet to match the use case and the number of users of.
Okay, so he just blatantly said, with no evidence whatsoever at all, that Solana is being artificially pumped. And then he says that Solana does not have the infrastructure or the network to do what they say that they're doing.
Ethereum or any of the other smart contract platforms that have been running a little bit longer. Ethereum is the one that's way out in front of all the rest. So we'll see what Cardano can do. But Solana did have some problems today.
Okay, Ethereum is way ahead of Solana and way ahead of everybody else. Okay.
Price crashed down to about $150.
Oh my! It crashed down to what, at 5x what it was a month ago. Oh my God! How could unbelievable? No, if there was a real problem with Solana, it would crash right back down to $30. If it was a pump and dump, it would crash right back down to where it was a month ago. Solana, despite its network being completely overburdened with bots, apparently pushing 400,000 transactions per second, still managed to conduct business until they rebooted their stuff. Okay. 400,000 transactions per second. If anything, this shows how powerful and how much better Solana is compared to Ethereum. All right.
Today we have Fidelity held a.
Okay, so that's all he had to say about that. But everything he said was completely wrong, and this guy's a buffoon. Okay. Number one, a 50-year-old man who calls himself Bitboy should not be trusted. Okay. That's my personal opinion. But Bitboy, I'm a 50-year-old man. I mean, you need to go home, play with your G.I. Joes or something? I don't know. It just rubs me the wrong way because everything he said's a lie. No evidence, no nothing backing it up. And I see that, he does his little 2-3 minute shorts thing, but hey, show me where it's manipulated. You can see everybody who says that, where Bitcoin is being manipulated or Ethereum or something can pull up a chart and show, oh, here's the inflows that came in and here's your flash crash. And you can see this. Where has Solana been manipulated? It's a great project that a lot of people understand and know about now, especially through the NFT craze, that, hey, it's only worth $150 a coin right now, which is nothing compared to an Ethereum or like an Avalanche or something like that. So it's just it's artificially been pumped. BS. We're going to talk about this transactions per second thing, about how he says Ethereum is just way out ahead of everybody else, okay? Ethereum. Well, look at the transactions per second here on Binance Academy. The approximate average TPS of Bitcoin is 5. Okay? Everybody knows this, and this is why everyone is down on Bitcoin. And it's like, well, nobody is really using it for cash except El Salvador, and they use Lightning Network. No one's transacting in straight Bitcoin, moving it from wallet to wallet and in cold storage. Or, if you're a whale manipulating the market, right? Ethereum in contracts can handle roughly double that amount. So Ethereum on a good day can do 10 to 15 transactions per second. And you know what? It costs you $900. Every time I look at Ethereum in my portfolio, I feel like I've been charged. I want to go mint an NFT. Oh, that's $35. You want to go mint an NFT off peak hours? Oh, it's down to $800 because China or Japan or Asia or whatever, they're using the network. It's ridiculous. And Vitaly Butterfield or whatever says that's good. That's good because that keeps the transaction limits down. The reason that Solana had the problem was the transaction fees are so low that if somebody wanted to attack the network, it doesn't cost them very much money. Whereas, hey, if a transaction costs you $900, then not many people want to go flood the network then, do they? That's a success. That's a success. So we're going to go move to Solana and what they say they can do. Founded in 2017, Solana is a high throughput, low latency mixed proof of history, which is something they invented, and proof of stake. And now I'm not a fan of proof of stake, mind you, but what are you going to do? Based smart contract blockchain platform, it claims to provide up to 50,000 transactions per second and a 400 millisecond block time latency. This is what Solana claims, but you find out that it took 400,000 transactions per second to actually bring the network down. Now keep in mind, Solana Ignite program came out at the beginning of September, which is where they're stress testing the network for people to find vulnerabilities and trying to hack the network. Going on at the same time, because they're doing this stuff. So this is the story on it. Solana's validators are preparing a new release, so they're patching it, and they fixed whatever the deal was. Essentially what happened, from what I gather here, see it says 6 hours after announcing the incident, Solana Status explained that a large increase in transaction load to 400,000 transactions per second had overwhelmed the network to create a denial of service and cause the network to start forking. So your validators, they got overrun. One validator gets overrun, it goes to the next one, to the next one, to the next one, to the next one, to the next one. They're all overrun, and it effectively creates a denial of service. And this is apparently done by bots. Now, here's what people have to keep in mind. Right now, we are at war with the encrusted old finance system, the Federal Reserve, the World Bank, crypto in general. Crypto everywhere. It doesn't matter. It's not just Bitcoin. Everyone's aware about Bitcoin. But that is more so these bigwigs can accumulate Bitcoin. But all of these attacks and all of these things about all these chains are to make people lose faith in projects, lose faith in crypto to scare people out. And that's what I think is going on right now with Solana, is that people understand that Solana is really way better than Ethereum on every single level. And they want to get in on the action, and they want to try and scare people out of it so they can accumulate when it's cheap and try and push that price down as much as possible. Because how much does it cost to flood a network with 400,000 transactions per second? Keep in mind, Visa does 15,000 transactions per second worldwide. How much computing power do you need to actually flood a network with 400,000 transactions per second? Who has the ability to do that? This is not kids in their basement. Okay, this is not script kiddies that are attacking the network. These are large organizations, likely, maybe, perhaps, could it be governments? Could it be large financial institutions? Could it be that are coming after crypto? Because obviously they don't like El Salvador doing what they're doing. They don't like young kids being able to break away from the system and have their own wealth and not be subservient or have to be a slave in the system. They're going to do everything they can to try and spook people, right? And that's what this is. And it doesn't matter what, you go all over the place. You could look on Reddit. There's a big FUD article. You look, Solana attack by bots is just what I search, and you just get a whole bunch of, oh my gosh, Solana is broken. Solana is terrible. I think it's all artificial. The price didn't hardly drop. Solana was effectively down for like 4 or 5 hours today, and the price didn't hardly drop. I'd say that is a win, personally, what I'd say. What else do we have going on? Continue on into bashing Ethereum, I think. I get my screens going. So, in regards to Ethereum, I mentioned that I didn't like this project, and I've never liked this project. Ethereum is touted as being so much better between the Ethereum maximalists than Bitcoin, and it's like they're not even the same thing. Bitcoin's a store of value, and Ethereum is your application protocol. There's no way Ethereum could ever be used as money. Okay, you're locked into your 15 transactions per second. You're a proof of stake, or you're a proof of work that's very, very, very centralized, with the exception of the miners. Also, it's inflationary, so it's terrible there. And so what they did to combat that, now see, people have a problem with their transactions per second, and they have a problem with their fees. But what does Mr. Butterfield do? He opts to start an Ethereum burning program, when everyone's all like, "Yay, we're burning Ethereum, yay!" Well, why do you have such a bad project that you need to burn Ethereum? Why do you need to burn the stuff you created? I mean, I guess I kind of get it, but then you look and there's no max supply. There's no max supply. We're on CoinMarketCap, and right now there's apparently somewhere around 100 million or something, 117 million circulating supply. They think. They don't know. Nobody knows. But there's no data on max supply, so there's no theoretical max. You don't know how many actual Ethereum is out there. But we know that Ethereum isn't going to be deflationary despite burning 20 Ethereum every minute until like December. So we pull up Mr. Calculator here, and you've got 60 minutes in an hour times 24. Okay, so 1,440 minutes in a day, and we'll just say it's not always 20 ETH. We'll just go 15 times 15 ETH. Okay, so 21,000 ETH are burned every single day, and it's still not deflationary. And I guess we'll go times 365 days a year. There's so much ETH out there, they can burn 8 million ETH. And before you're starting to become deflationary, like, what's the point? And then they're going to move to proof of stake anyway. It just seems to me it's an artificial pump to try and make the price of Ethereum go up. And it can't go up because it only does 15 transactions per second, and nobody wants to use it because it costs $900 to mint an NFT. $100% centralized, all residing on Amazon Web Services. Junk is what it is. It's junk. And when there's nothing else, that's what you got. You know, you've got junk. You got to deal with junk. Crypto is early. Crypto is new. And yeah, you deal with your Ethereum. But hey, you got Cardano now and you have Solana. And you look at Solana and it's so much better than ETH. It's astounding. And then Bitboy, he wants to go out there and say, well, it's all the price is obviously getting manipulated. It's like, it can't just be good, right? It can't just be good. My only regret with that is not putting more into Solana. I didn't find out about Solana until not very long ago, a month and a half ago or something. Hey, I got in late and still did pretty well. And the more that I learn about Solana and what it does, I'm more and more impressed that I am. And the more that I know about old Ethereum, and Mr. Butterfield. And yes, I'm aware that's not his name. I am. Touted as the great man who created Ethereum in the womb, apparently. Or he just maybe wrote the white paper and those 5 other guys did it. Considering they went on to do other blockchain stuff. Could be. Could be. Could it be? I don't know. So the other big news we'll talk about here, and then we're going to wrap up, is Bitcoin. You see what happens. Everyone's familiar who's in the space about 4-year cycles. There's a halving event. And then typically after your halving event, Bitcoin goes parabolic and does a 5x or 6x, whatever. It just has happened in 2013. It's happened in 2017. And that's what the market does. And I'm not a big guy for following TA, especially in going back that far and in a brand new space, whether or not we're going to match what happened in the history as to what's going to happen today. I don't know. But there's all the people I watch it to listen to a wide variety of people from a lot of different areas, you know, younger guys, a lot of older guys. We're talking about this stuff. Of course, Max Kaiser, who's like, up 220,000 by December. Okay. Could be, right? And it all kind of hinges on this idea that Q4 after a halving, it's because it's happened before, it's going to happen this time. And, you know, I hope it does, right? And I don't see why it couldn't, because of the artificial suppression with the miners getting kicked out. And there is some hanky-panky with the markets going on during that to bring the price of Bitcoin down to 30,000, which was great. We get to go buy some more. But we had a couple of months of that. And then we have the El Salvador thing where we're getting artificially pushed down. And, you know, I like it when they push the market down personally, if I have money to actually spend. But realistically, by now, had none of those black swan, gray swan events happen, Bitcoin would be sitting somewhere between $60,000 and $80,000, right? It just would. It would have a natural 15-20% crash in there. And yeah, that's where it would be. And you'd be around 100,000, 110,000 by the end of the year. But we're at war. We're at war with the financiers. We're at war with the world banks. And Bitcoin is going to be fine. But it's going to be, make things take longer. You know, it's going to be delayed. Most people believe that the cycle typically would end like around end of December, early January. And now that the cycle has been extended, perhaps almost indefinitely, depending on how much more adoption we get, it's certainly a possibility. A lot of possibilities with it. But if we use history as our guide, right, and we'll go with the 4-year halving events that allow Bitcoin to do massive gains in the span of a month or two. That would mean that you need to have all of your ducks in a row with Bitcoin and your altcoin portfolios, because 2 weeks from now, the whole thing is just going to skyrocket. All right. That is the sentiment among many people. And one thing's for sure is that Bitcoin is going to be higher than $46,000 in December. Now, we can only, anybody who talks about crypto on YouTube or anywhere, this is, of course, without taking into account black swans and gray swans and things that we can't possibly foresee, right? Like I said, Bitcoin would be at somewhere between 60 and 80,000 right now. If just watching the chart and how your typical growth and your adoption is crazy this year. The adoption's through the roof. There's no reason for Bitcoin to be less than $80,000. But the gray swans and the black swans, and we'll see what happens, right? We'll see what happens. So we take a look at the chart up here, and this goes back to where we have the bull run for 2017. And from what I hear from people and what their opinion is of it, is when you look here and you look at the end of September in 2017 and you head into October is where you start this big run up where Bitcoin goes up about 6x. And then, comes back down and then kind of settles out. And then you enter into something of a bear market. That is how it worked in 2013 also. And so here, in theory, is that matching it by the months, I guess, is that if we're, matching up with September, the market's a little shaky. But then in October, it's going to go parabolic. And then from we're at 46,000, we can do 4 or 5x from here. And a lot of people think that, okay? I'm not one of them, but a lot of people. Max Kaiser's out there, the hedge fund guys, that lady from is it ARK Invest? Everybody's saying this, okay? Everybody's saying this. Now, and they're using the history of Bitcoin and, of course, the adoption, and they know more about this stuff than I do, especially the people who have been in the space since 2017, right? But if you just look at the actual chart, okay, you look at the actual chart and you've got your big run up and then you come down and then you come back up. Well, if you look at the chart and you match it up, that would put us like right here. That would put us after the parabolic run, right? Because when we started this run, we start this run in October here. No, October. So you look at 2020 from October in 2020, and did it not 6x right there? Okay, it did. It 6x'd, and then it came back down, and then you have a little bit of a recovery, and now we're kind of where we're at. So it seems to me that we already had our 6x run. If you want to match it back to what happened in 2017. And then you come back down, and here we are just kind of running sideways. And if you look at the percentages of the growth, you 6x down to like coming out like 20% below that. Yeah, that's the TA and the chart and all that matches pretty well perfectly. So if you want to go back to that 2013, 2017 thing, it looks like we already did our 6x, right? We already did our 6x. Went from $10,000 to $60,000. Had our retracement, and then we settled out around $40,000, just like what happened in 2017. Okay? That's what I think. And, like I said, the adoption is crazy. We've got countries that use it, so I don't think that the TA chart necessarily applies this year. Nor do I believe that you're going to have natural occurrences of crashes that are like 50, 60%. I think they'll have a lot of help. And I think that will be an ongoing thing until there's enough people in the world that are invested into cryptocurrencies to sort of more or less prevent that from happening. And more people are in there with stop losses, and more people are in there buying dips and triggers and like that to stabilize the market. It's just what's going to be, because this is the game right here is Bitcoin. And if you have sovereign money where you can build wealth and you can pass off your wealth to your family or to whomever you want to, and it doesn't get eaten up by taxes, it doesn't get eaten up by inflation, it can perpetually goes up in value for its entire existence. All right. It's a total game changer. And it's just, be wary of the ups and downs. Everyone, when I talk about like the FUD thing with Solana, everybody is also talking about Bitcoin going parabolic and doing 200,000, 300,000, 400,000. Kathy Wood is her name. 500,000 she projects by beginning of next year. And it's like, okay. So on the Solana, you got super FUD. And then on the Bitcoin side, you can expect 100 to 400,000 upside in the next 3 months. It's like, come on, guys. Just like in El Salvador, you can expect Bitcoin has to go up because of El Salvador has an option. There's 6 million more people that are all get to use Bitcoin. And, that's nothing compared to the countries that do business with El Salvador, who are going to be buying billions of dollars worth of stuff. And El Salvador can say, Bitcoin, please. Okay, that's a bigger deal than just the amount of users. But obviously the price went down because of manipulation. All right. So you can't plan on these things. I'm not one to ever really put sell orders on Bitcoin or whatever. But if I was that type, I probably would have had a stop loss put in there, because I figure it's like, yeah, they're probably going to crash Bitcoin. I am the hold'em game with Bitcoin, though. I don't really touch it. There's so little Bitcoin on exchanges and everything that it's like, boy, you start worrying, are you going to get it back? And no, I'm not sitting on 1,000 Bitcoin. I'm only got a little bit, but still, when there is no supply, the price can go quite high, quite quick. And if there is going to be a 5x, if there is going to be a 6x bull run in these 3 months, or the cycle is elongated, so it could go into the Q1 next year and all that. If Bitcoin is going to 6x, it's going to be because there is no supply. There is no supply for anyone to buy, so the price just goes up. That's what I see with that. And yeah. With that, guys, I think we covered just about everything. So we will